Hey guys, welcome back to our new edition. So this time is going to be a special holiday edition. So we're going to do a lot of different recipe. I'm going to do two, which is a sweet chocolate recipe that's easy to do. You can offer to people. And I'm going to do another one, which is a famous recipe called beef Wellington. And I'm going to show you a different version how to do the beef Wellington with something else, something cheaper. And we're going to have a special guest. Brandon is going to be with us today. We're going to go to his house. He's going to do 2 drink recipes. So the first one, it's something you see everywhere. My kids love it. My daughter is crazy about it. Every year she has to have some. I have to make some. I personally hate it. If you know me, I hate meat and chocolate. If you give me those yolk chocolate, that's not gonna fly. I'm not gonna want it. But peppermint and chocolate, it's really popular for Christmas time. So today we're making dark chocolate, white chocolate, peppermint bark. Let's put the apron on. All right. Ho, ho, ho. We're gonna start with the bark today. So first, let's look at the ingredients. It's a 3-step recipe. You gotta do first the dark chocolate, then the white chocolate, put the peppermint on top, and then the rest, and then you can break. So you gotta do on 3 steps. So you could do it a different time of the day, or you can just wait between. So first, we got our dark chocolate, we got our white chocolate right here, and we're gonna do the peppermint after that. The first step, what we need is parchment paper, or you can use silicone mat. You're gonna need a flat surface. Could be a baking pan, could be a word board like this, something that it's flat and you can put in the fridge. All right, so we're gonna start with the dark chocolate. We're gonna put the dark chocolate in the microwave, 1.5 minutes. Now you can do in a steam boiler with water and a bowl on top. It's a little bit longer. It's probably easier if you just leave the water hot and put the chocolate on top and then just stir. This one in the microwave, it just take 1.5 minutes and it's super easy. You can miss it. So let's put it in the microwave 1.5 minutes. You can see the chocolate still like chunky, but that's okay, that's perfect. Do not put it back. Just stir, and you can feel under the bowl it's a little hot. So we're gonna stir and temper the chocolate. Tempering is just to get the temperature down and cool down the chocolate to make sure it's smooth and it's gonna be nice and shiny. It's gonna avoid that after a few days your chocolate turn like white. So we're just gonna keep stirring until it's nice and smooth. All right, so you can see that the chocolate, it's really shiny and it starts to be like nice and smooth and creamy. That's where it is ready. So we're gonna put on top of the silicone mat, and the goal is to get a nice rectangle. Now you get it as thick as you want. There's no rules how thick you want it. So just spread it out. If you want really thick, just keep it thick. If you want thin, just keep spread out. Don't forget, you're gonna get the white chocolate on top. All right, so just make nice and smooth. So that's it. That's the first step. Now, if you really like peppermint, what you can do now, I'm not gonna do it now, but what you could do is have some crushed peppermint already and then put some on top. That's it's really, you really love peppermint, so you can do it twice. We're gonna do it at the end, but you can already put some right now. So let's put it in the fridge for about 20 minutes to make sure the chocolate get hard. Then we can put the second layer on it, which is the white chocolate. Alright, so while you're waiting for your dark chocolate to be in the fridge and get cold, you can start on crushing your peppermint. If you're like me, you don't like peppermint, you can do your bark with something else. You can do with dry fruit, you can do with nuts. It's up to you. You don't have to do peppermint. I love it with crushed nuts and dry fruit in the same time. So have that ready for the end, but right now we're gonna do the peppermint. So the recipe says 10 peppermint. The reason I put 10, you don't need 10 if you just do on the top, but I wanted to do 10 because if you want to put in the middle, and it depends how much you like peppermint. So if you get our package, you're gonna get the white chocolate, the dark chocolate, and you're gonna get the peppermint like this. All right, so the way to crush the peppermints, there's different way. So you can use a food processor like this one, a small one. I wouldn't do that because you might hurt the blade. So I'm gonna show you a way to do it, to crush those peppermint without using this and hurting your equipment. This is an easy way to do it, and I think I showed this before. Just get a bag, put it in a bag, get the air out of the bag, and then use something heavy. that's it. It's crushed. It's ready to go for your bark. Okay, so it's easy. Use something heavy. Use something like this. If you use a bottle, be careful because those are hard. So use a pot. Use a heavy pot and just crush it. All right. So this is ready, and we're just gonna work on the white chocolate. Now we're gonna do the white chocolate. So same process. We're gonna do a microwave. If you do on a water bath, just be careful because white chocolate is really sensitive. So you don't wanna go too hot. It's gonna break. It's gonna get hot, and when it's hot, that's it. It's over. Best way again is to do it in a microwave. 1 minute and a half. It's perfect, and it's gonna be ready to go. All right, let's put it in the microwave for 1 minute and a half. Same thing as the dark chocolate. Just keep stirring the white chocolate until all the chunk is gone and it gets nice, smooth, and shiny. And we're gonna bring the temperature down, as like I said earlier, when tempering the chocolate, just to get it smooth and nice and shiny. All right, it's ready. Let's get the dark chocolate. So there it is, dark chocolate, nice and hot. So now we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna pour the white chocolate on top. Like we did for the dark chocolate, we're just gonna spread it out all the way on top of the dark one. All right, just smooth it out on top. Now if you want, you can just use a spoon and drizzle on top to make it a little bit more fancy. But this is probably the easiest way. Alright, so that's it. Now we got the peppermint and we're gonna sprinkle it all the way around. So now that's up to you how much you want to have on it. If you just want to have a little bit or if you want to have more. So there it is. That's ready. The only thing you have to do now is put it back in the fridge for at least 20 minutes until it gets hot. Alright, so let's do that and then we're gonna break it and then I'm gonna show you all the way to serve it and maybe do a little package for your guests. Alright, it's ready. It's nice and hard. Just make sure it's hard when you want to break it. Okay, don't leave it out too long and then break it. It's easier when it's nice and cold to break it. Now what you need to do is just break into pieces, just like that. You can just break it, put on a nice platter, and it's ready to go for your holiday. Or get a mason jar, put your bark in. Put a nice bow on it, whatever you want, a cart and things, and then you can offer that for Christmas. Or if you want to do a little easier, it's just a little gift bag. Same thing, just put a bow on it, put stickers on it, whatever you want to do. Or you can do like me. I always, when I get cookies and those nice box, and I have a ton that I keep all the time, you can just display them in the box and then just bring it to your family when you go over for the holiday. Another idea too is while we were doing this, my daughter was just thinking, hey, why we won't try s'mores with the peppermint bark. So we're gonna try that tonight. I'll let you know, but instead of using milk chocolate, dark chocolate, whatever chocolate you're using for your s'mores, use the bark and then it's holiday-ish. So this is it. This is our first recipe. Now we're gonna go see our special guest. We're gonna go to Brandon's house and he's gonna show us how to make 2 drinks for the holiday. There you go, Brandon. It's all yours now.
Hey Chef, welcome. Welcome everybody to the house. We're going to be putting together some pretty easy cocktails for you for this festive season coming up. We know that the holidays can be stressful, with having to clean, having to prep, plan menus, cook, maybe the in-laws are coming over. So we'll definitely make this pretty easy on you. Today we're going to be making 2 drinks. One is going to be non-alcoholic. It's going to be basically a mulled cider called a wassail. So it's basically just warm apple cider with some spices and some fruits in there to kind of bring the holiday spirit to you. And then the next is going to be a festive little white sparkling sangria that's always been a hit at my house. A lot of fresh fruits and some festive ingredients. Let's get going. First off, for the wassail, we're going to start by doing this in the pan. You're going to take basically 1 gallon of apple cider. Basically just picked it up at Kroger. Pretty simple here. Kind of get it all in the pot. And if you don't want to do it in the pot, on the stove, you have a lot of time, you want to get other stuff done, you can more than welcome do this in like a slow cooker or like a crock pot. Basically, same principles apply to the recipe. Just kind of get it all going. In the crock pot, put it on low for about 4 hours and just kind of set it and forget it. A couple of the spices we're going to be putting in here, we have about a tablespoon of whole cloves, 5 cinnamon sticks. I use the cheesecloth and kind of boned it all up with a little bit of twine. You don't have to, you can just throw it in the pool and let them have fun, but then just strain it right before service. If you don't have cheesecloth, coffee filters work just fine as well. my little helper back there. Coffee filters work just well, and if you don't have twine, actually dental floss. So we're gonna get this guy going here. What you're gonna do is kind of get this going in with your spices and your cut up orange. Basically got a medium-sized navel orange, thinly sliced, and I'm just gonna drop those in the pool. That's really all that you really need to do. A way to kind of jazz this up or booze it up for you. What I always like to do is make a base that's gonna be non-alcoholic, and then you can have bottles of brandy, bourbon, whatever you want on the side, and then allow your guest to actually mix however much they want to put in there. Usually about a 1 to 2 ounce pour of alcohol inside there. All right, we're gonna let that simmer. We're gonna sit over to our sangria while that's going. So our sparkling sangria, very simple here. We took a green apple, a red apple, a pear, kind of chopped those down into little bite-sized pieces. I have some cranberries in here, as well as some pomegranate. Fun little trick you can do is take the pomegranate, cut it, kind of whack it a couple times with a spoon. They'll fall in there. It's kind of fun. 1 bottle of Pinot Grigio. I like to use Pinot Grigio because it's a very neutral type of wine. It doesn't put off a lot of like oaky, buttery flavors like Chardonnay or something would that would kind of be off-putting for the sangria. So you want to find something a little bit neutral. And then to keep the sparkling going, I got Prosecco. The Prosecco I like to use because it adds just a little bit more sweetness versus like a cava or a brut champagne or something like that too. So basically, we're gonna take our pitcher here, just kind of get some of our fruits in it. And you can get as much fruit as you want. Some pears. I used Bartlett pears. I always like Bartlett pears. A little bit of cranberries. And just a fun little top off with some pomegranate seeds using a slotted spoon so we get a little bit of that water out of there. I put water in there because it just helps with the mess when you're trying to knock the pomegranate seeds out. Right before the good stuff goes in, we're gonna do 1.5 cups of apple cider. Same stuff we basically are doing with our wassail and the good stuff. So you're doing this, you wanna leave enough wine and such for the Prosecco. You can either put it in right before service, or you can actually add it to the glass after you've already poured it in. Basically, this will go now into the fridge for about 4 hours, or overnight's best so that it soaks up all those juices from the fruits and everything in there. So we're gonna pop those in. Oh, TV magic. Look at that. Ding! Like I said, you can top it off with the sparkling right before you're ready to serve. Nice bubbles to it. And then for your glassware, something kind of festive, we're getting into the Christmas spirit. So you can do these little candy canes here, or another option is take some of the cranberries, and rosemary is really a fun little garnish that you can get. It's very earthy, kind of brings that evergreeny kind of smell out, and you can garnish there as well. Kind of just get that in there, give it a nice little shake, a stir. Again, this would have been sitting probably, 8 to 12 hours for me. Looks beautiful in the pitcher. That's really the sangria. Very yummy, very tasty. Going back to wassail, and this will be hot. Once it's boiling, we're gonna do it a little faster for you to keep this going. So once it starts to boil, we're gonna drop it down to a simmer, and we're gonna let it simmer for about 20 minutes. Once it's done simmering, 20 minutes, you're good to go. You just get your ladle, ladle some into the coffee mug here. I like to garnish with a little bit of orange. My imaginary bourbon going in, as you know, you have to like it. And then I like to kind of festive it up a little bit with some leftover cinnamon sticks. Kind of drop that in there, and you're good to go. I'm wishing everybody much health. We miss you all, we love you, and cheers to a festive holiday season with you. Cheers.
Thanks Brandon, that looks great. I'm sure I'm gonna try those drinks for the holiday. So now we're gonna move to the next recipe. Next recipe is beef Wellington. You probably heard about it many times if you watch Hell Kitchen, because that's what they do in Hell Kitchen. It's the beef Wellington.
Wellington.
Racing Wellington! What's wrong with that Wellington?
Thunderfish.
Right. So you can see it with your eyes.
So I'm gonna show you a different way. I'm gonna show you how to do the whole tenderloin, a small piece, but also how to do it with chicken and salmon. If you can afford beef or you want to go to a cheaper option. First, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the ingredient, and then I'm going to show you how to sear the beef. Let's look at the ingredient. So first, any meat you're gonna do, you wanna have a nice sear on the outside for different reasons. First, because you want nicely seasoned, you want a nice crust on it, but also for something like beef and chicken, you wanna keep all the juice inside. So when you do the nice sear, all the juice, all the flavor is gonna stay inside. So we're gonna do with just the beef. You need a pan, you're gonna need olive oil, put it on high, just make sure that it's really high. We're gonna wait until we got a nice smoke on the oil, and then that's where we're gonna put the beef. First, first, we're gonna season, just salt, pepper, nothing fancy on this part. I have 3 different sizes. I have an 8 ounce, 7 ounce and a 5 ounce. You can do whatever size you would like to do. As you can see, it's nice, hot and smoky. You can see the oil start to separate. You're gonna see like some wave on top and the oil is gonna start to smoke. That's where you reach the high temperature to do a nice crust on anything. We're gonna do salmon later. I sear my salmon because I wanna have a nice crust on top. As you can see, it starts smoking. We're gonna add the beef. And we're gonna give a nice crust, nice sear on both sides. Now if you do a whole tenderloin, just switch all over, all the way around to make sure that it's nice sear and crust all the way around. Leave it, don't touch it until it's nice and brown on the outside. It's nice and brown, that's why you flip it. That's it. Do the other side, and then that's it. We're pretty much done. You do your chicken, just roll them over to make sure you got a nice brown sear on every corner. So there you go. We let it cool down, and then we're gonna make a beef Wellington on it. Alright, so that's it. We did our beef, we did our chicken, we did our salmon, and we did the whole tenderloin. This is already clean, it's already cut up. I used the trim for something else, but this is our beef tenderloin. I did a nice sear all the way around. On the recipe, usually beef Wellington, you don't have to have prosciutto. I'm gonna do it with prosciutto. You can use serrano or you can use regular ham. So we're gonna use a nice plastic. We're just gonna lay out the prosciutto. So now the big thing in the Wellington is the mushroom. What I really did is I sauté my mushroom with garlic, olive oil, salt, pepper, and I had some leftover herbs for my demo. So I just added on. You can add thyme, chop parsley, a little bit of herbs. Normally in every recipe, they chop the mushroom first and then they saute them. I've been doing this for 20-ish years. Yeah, I know I look young. I rather saute my mushroom first and then chop them. If you do raw, it makes a mess, it's everywhere. If you do cook, it's easier to do it that way. You can chop them on a cutting board or you can use a food processor. Chop it up until it's like this. It's almost like a paste of mushroom. Let's start it. So we have our prosciutto line up. The other thing is we need Dijon mustard. So we're gonna put some Dijon mustard on the beef all the way. We're gonna do that on the other side when we flip it. We're gonna put mushroom. And now we're gonna add the beef with the mustard first. And we're gonna do it all over again. And again, we're gonna finish with mushroom on top, all the way around. So if you don't like mushroom, it's probably not a dish for you. Now what I do sometimes with my mushroom, I add pistachio. I do with pistachio, I add some pistachio, some chopped pecan if you wanna do that. Okay, so we're gonna do on this side now. All right, now we're gonna wrap the prosciutto all the way around. Just gonna leave it like this, put it in the fridge for about 15 minutes. On the meantime, we're gonna do some individual ones. So let's put this one in the fridge and we'll go back to it and wrap it with the puff pastry. All right, so we put the whole tenderloin in the fridge. On the meantime, I'm gonna show you how to do an individual beef, an individual chicken, an individual salmon. If you're not interested, look at the time on the bottom and just skip that part to go back to the whole one, which I'm gonna finish after. Let's do the small one. So we're gonna do the beef first. We have a little piece of beef there. We're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna notice on this one, I'm not gonna do the prosciutto. I'm just gonna do straight mushroom and Dijon mustard and the crust. We have the puff pastry here. You can find any puff pastry at the store. Go to the frozen area. We're gonna put a little bit of mushroom on the bottom. We're gonna flip over the beef. We're gonna put more mustard. Now if you really want to do with the prosciutto, you still can. I'm just showing you the way to do it without it. Just need to do on the top and on the bottom. Just gonna wrap it. Cut a little bit of the extra. There you go. That's your beef. We're gonna put a little bit of eggs on top to get it nice and shiny. And if you want to, with the top and the other side of your knife, just do a little mark just to make it nice and fancy. All right, so that's our beef. Then we're just gonna put it in a pan with butter on the bottom. The beef tenderloin will take about 25 minutes in 375, 400 degrees. And it will be nice and medium rare. All right, let's do chicken now. So same thing. As you can see, we have a nice chicken breast. We seal it with salt, pepper. chicken will take about 25 to 30 minutes. Same temperature, 375, 400 degrees. So let's do some salmon now. This is it. We're gonna do the final one, which is the whole tenderloin. We put it in the fridge for about 20 minutes. It's nice and tight together. We're gonna take the plastic off. We got the pastry right here. We're just gonna put on it and we're just gonna wrap it. I'm not gonna need the whole thing, so we're just gonna cut a little piece. A little bit of oil on the bottom, nice on top. So let's put the eggs. Again, you can use a knife, do some nice design on it, and then with the extra dough, you can do little leaves or decor. Alright, this is it. Just put it in the oven again, 375, 400 degrees. This one will take about 45 to 50 minutes. You can push it for a little bit to get it over like medium rare. I wouldn't go for a net. I would try to get it well done because your crust is gonna get burned. The goal is to have a nice and brown on the outside, dry on the bottom, and a nice beef who's rare on the inside. This is it. We're gonna put it in the oven. I'll see you in 45, 50 minutes, and then we can see the results. That's it. So you saw the result. Looks great. I hope you will do that for maybe this weekend, maybe for Christmas, maybe for New Year's, who knows, but try it out. It's really easy. Let me know, send me pictures when it's done. Again, if you have any question, you can put a comment on the Facebook page, or you can send me an email on this address and I'll respond to you and help you whatever I can. Thank you very much. Have a good holiday and I hope to see you soon. Bye.